and that's probably why they were unable to score today. But really, I think out of the two teams, America was the better suited. They looked better on the field, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. We also have another match undergoing right now with LA Galaxy and Tigres. We'll make sure to keep you guys updated as we record this podcast. It's barely in its third minute, 0-0. On the other side of the Champions Cup bracket, we have Vancouver and Pumas. They'll play tomorrow at 6:30, and LAFC versus Inter Miami. While we're talking about LAFC, there is some controversy surrounding the last spot for the Club World Cup. It has been decided that since Leon is, owned by Pachuca, that spot will go to either America or LAFC. Not sure how I feel about that. I think they're going to have a one-off game to decide who goes to the Club World Cup. Abdias, you're here. Joel, you're here. Welcome, guys.
Buenas, putos.
Hey, you're going to have to entertain me because that was a fucking snooze fest, dog. What happened to your Chemos?
What are you talking about? The whole first half was Cruz Azul the whole fucking time. The second half, granted, it got a little bit slow. It got a little bit boring. But, it was still a good game. If you watch on the defensive side, Cruz Azul did their job.
Yeah, they did. Were they technically the away team today?
They were technically the away team. And they put in the work, man. And the whole first half, they were attacking, they were pressing. In fact, they were the team that looked the most dangerous. And then in the second half, they kind of bunkered back, kind of defended that 0-0, and now they're going home to try to win it. Now, the one thing to keep in mind about all this is that, let's not forget, the visitor goal does count as a tiebreaker.
Ooh.
So
you guys didn't get one.
I know, and that was one of the things that they were talking about during the match commentary. They were saying that Cruz Azul was leaving points on the table because of that very same fact that they weren't able to score at least one away goal.
Oh, you know what's going to happen, right?
Unfortunately, yes. And if you watch the game, man, like, honestly, I'm going to call it like the first quarter of the match. It was looking that way because no mames way, every single call was going against Cruz Azul for very like basic and simple touches to where I'm not sure. I didn't really do the research, but I think that might have been an MLS ref because that dude was calling fouls that were super light, that weren't even there. The type of shit that we see in Liga MX every weekend, and nothing happens. Aquí, no, güey. Like, you looked at them wrong, y boom, amarilla de volada.
Yeah, I was noticing that America did not get any yellow cards, and Cruz Azul got like a couple, right? They got like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So even I was watching, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
dude, that Valdez slide tackle, esa era amarilla right there.
Yeah, it definitely was. So that's the question of like, wait. And I understand, and I said it in a couple episodes ago, how America hasn't been favored in international play, not just CONCACAF, but international play in general. But now that the Infantino fixes in to have them be part of the Club World Cup, we're starting to see this bullshit.
Yeah, I don't agree with like what they're doing. I think that Leon deserved to go to the Club World Cup, and the fact that the whole multi-ownership, that's bullshit, bro. That is such bullshit. I know Man City has a group and they own multiple teams. I know that Red Bull has multiple teams. Granted, I don't think any of those are going to the Club World Cup, but still, it's like, like multi ownership exists in modern football, and we can't like, use Mexico as an example. That's kind of messed up.
I mean, look at MLS in general.
Yeah.
It's literally fucking disgusting what they're doing. And worst of all, is that now there's talks. Well, not even talks. It's well, I say still talks because America put through a press release about how they haven't been contacted by FIFA or anybody about them playing a sudden death match against LAFC. But America doesn't deserve to go, bro. They've been shitting the bed for the past 3 years in this competition. So therefore, why do they all of a sudden get to go? Let sporting merit be the deciding factor and let the team that was the runner up that year go and play.
Mm. I will say, Leon being swapped out for America isn't the worst of things. They are, arguably the team that's in best form in Mexico. So they would be the most accurate representation in current form. But, the fact that Leon's not going and, they brought this, James Rodriguez and all this to for the reason of him playing in the Club World Cup seems kind of like a bait and switch.
Look, I know the fact that daddy comes home and beats the shit out of you has left you with a little bit of trauma and Stockholm syndrome. But no mames, way. Why are you glazing America? Like, they don't deserve to go. They get bounced out in the early stages of this competition every time.
I'm just saying, like, they are three titles in a row. I want whoever.
Of Liga MX in this scale, that doesn't mean shit. That's like saying, yo, I won the supporter shield last year.
If it's that easy, why has no other team aside from Chivas done it?
Senor, those are different conversations. Cruz Azul has done it too. Let's not forget that. All right, there's only been three campeones, and it's Chivas, Cruz Azul, and America.
Hmm. Well, today neither team looked like they wanted it. 0-0. There was a really good save by Malagon. Sepulveda had a nice header. And you know what, man? Like, I guess we're just going to have to deal with the fact that he's going to be our starting goalkeeper in the World Cup.
I don't know, man. I want to say he's about 4 mistakes away because you know what? Even today, I was watching him and he seemed to be under pressure, güey. Se miraba cagado. Le dio miedo, se culió y lo mirabas como le estaba gritando a ese equipo. I don't know. There's a little bit of bitch in him, and I don't like it.
No, I agree for sure. Habibi is on here. FC Gorditos. How'd you guys see the match? Did you watch it? Did you fall asleep like I did?
You read my mind because I was falling asleep. I would wake up eventually, así como with that, como una play que hacían y dice, ay, güey, a ver cuánto van, oh, todavía 0-0. Ah, okay, I can still take a little nap antes de que comience todo el desmadre.
Yeah. Yeah, really not much to say. They do have the return leg next week. So we'll see how that goes. And there was already talks in the broadcast about how America is going to rest their players against Pachuca so they can have a full force against Cruz Azul next Tuesday.
I can see it now. Pachuca taking advantage of this y ganándoles.
Wait, even with their starters, they can't beat Pachuca. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, Pachuca fucking puts in the beatdown against America every year. Hence why their nickname is Papachuca.
Van a sacar el cinto piteado, right?
Something
El
about
de
Pachuca,
Baqueta,
man.
güey.
They always seem to have America's number. Although over the weekend, the player that had Pachuca's number was none other than Alexis Vega. It's crazy how much he has flourished under this new club, and people are starting to say that he is the best player in the league. I wouldn't go that far, but Did you guys see that goal he scored against Pachuca over the weekend?
Bro, he is the best Mexican player in the league.
Ah, Mexican.
Yeah, and you want to know a crazy stat? He has the same amount of goals like now with Toluca than he did in all his games with Chivas.
I don't believe that.
It is. Look it up.
No, you're lying,
Yeah,
bro.
since he's returned to Toluca, he has the same amount of goals, which is 16, as far as with Chivas. With Chivas, he had like 16 goals as well.
No, I think with the stat,
Or
you're
maybe goal contributions, like goal and assist.
he has
But
no. I think what I saw was that in the last, I don't know if it was like something games, like he's already like um equated what he did at Chivas, something like that. I don't know, but I did see like a tweet earlier about how his numbers at Toluca have been a lot more productive than his time at Chivas, and that's no surprise.
no,
I
it's
mean,
not a
dude,
surprise, but it's you know how you guys were talking about America, Pachuca, America resting its starters. Dude, if you look at America's team, like their bench, they have a good ass bench too. Like Davila, Jonathan Santos, even Cota playing as goalkeeper. They have like 5, 6 solid subs that could be like starters in other teams. And that's the same thing with Vega. Like, you know how they do that SOFA score, like player rating? Vega is like number one as far as Mexican players. But
Wow.
like the top 10 players in the league, like foreign, Mexican, he's like in the top three. And then Marcel Ruiz and Paulinho, they're also in the top 10. So yes, he's flourishing, but he's flourishing because he actually has talent around him. As opposed with like at
He had
Chivas,
talent at Chivas.
no mames, what was his talent at Chivas?
All I
A
know is
player that was better than him.
we
You
were.
can argue Paulinho is better than him.
I'm just saying, like when it mattered the most, he didn't show up in the final when we had 45 minutes to go.
You're right, and you're absolutely right. He didn't show up in that, but overall, just in general, that team, no one even expected that team to make it to the final. Are you gonna tell me that was like a championship caliber team?
I mean, to be in the top two, I would say so. You look at the
I,
team that Chivas had when they did win in 2017. It's not like we had world beaters there too.
I don't know, man. I think that team was much better. They had like Aris, Jair, Alanis, Cota, Pizarro, Pulido, Orbelin. You're
A
talking
Gallito.
about
lot
a
of
lot
those
of
guys had
solid
wins
players.
with Pachuca and León.
You're
A lot
talking
of
about
those
a
players
lot of solid
had been,
players on that team.
yeah, they won championships with León and Pachuca. So you had championship caliber players that knew how to win. Yeah,
Experienced
that counts.
championship players.
Yeah, yeah. Can't forget Guli Peña, Gallito. Gallito's national team. He was, you know,
I,
he was
I
one of
I
the
don't
best in
see
the
that
national
team,
team.
and that team that went on that title run is more or less where we're at right now. If I'm being completely
No
honest.
Oh
way, no way.
no,
A bunch of
no,
those guys got called up to the
blasphemy.
national team. Right now, you only
Yeah,
get Piojo that gets
No.
called
All
up.
right, dude. I'm looking at this list. Pulido was not playing for the national team in 2017. Maybe Pizarro and how you mentioned Gallito, but everybody else was role players, man. Pineda,
They were
maybe.
getting called up, man. They were getting called up like to like the Moleros, the Gold Cups, the friendlies, like Alanis, players like that. They weren't your A team national team players, but at least they were getting called up to like the B team Mexico call ups. And right now you don't have that with
yeah.
Chivas. Right now you have Tala and Piojo. Nene doesn't even get called up to the B ones. Neither does Pocho. Neither does any of your other defenders,
Yeah,
man.
and the strikers Pulido was competing against, they were much better. You had still had Chicha, he was still doing good. Um, no, I'm forgetting some, but overall, the strikers, he had more competition for the national team.
Yeah, and I don't want to focus too much on the past. I'm just saying I think Toluca has a really great roster, and that's why Alexi has been able to flourish. I don't think it's everything about Chivas, the club in itself, or one's players. I think it's just the owner, broke ass owner who has an average roster and he
Mhm.
expects championship results.
How much is the Mohamed sauce helping out Alexis? You
A
think
lot,
it has anything to
Oh
do
yeah,
with
that's definitely a good point.
a lot. I said it before the season started, man. I will love Mohamed at Chivas. Like he's gonna come in for 6, 9 months. He's gonna ruin your locker room, ruin your front office, but he's gonna leave you a title, dude. Like
Yeah.
he gets the players going.
That's if they buy him the players he wants.
Yeah, Turco is a player coach. He was also a striker, right? So it's like I think he knows how to like have a loose locker room where everyone's getting along. There's not going to be any, he's going to be part of the shithousery. Like you need that kind of coach around a young team, and I think that's definitely a factor into why
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Alexis
I
is.
don't know about that.
Well, think about it. Alexis is like, they were giving him so much shit at Chivas, him, Antuna.
Yeah.
Who else was part of like the party crew? But it's like,
Because he was the highest paid. He got a massive contract.
but
returning
that
from the World
behavior,
Cup.
it's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do off the field as long as you're good on the field. And I think like
Yeah.
Chivas have
But
the
he wasn't
wrong.
delivering.
I think Chivas have the wrong approach where they try to run a clean program, and it's like, bro, like we won those Campeonísimo titles taking shots before the game. That was actually part of their charm. It's like we have
echaban
to
un cigarrito before
we
the
have to
game, too.
embrace the fact that
Other times, like,
we have to embrace the fact that you live in Guadalajara, which is a party city. It's a big city. There's a lot of bitches. There's a lot of drinking. It's like it's like it's like
Yeah.
living in Vegas. It's like, bro, instead of like trying to protect everyone, dude, just let them have fun. Let them loose.
Pauno was pretty strict, and the team functioned under him. Tuca's another guy known for being pretty strict. He won a league title.
That was in
Um,
'97 though. That was a long
Yeah,
time
Yeah,
ago.
no,
and
but I
Pauno,
mean-
like we've touched on this before. My personal opinion, Pauno type style with Mexican players, that if they buy into it, it'll last you max of 6 months. You're not going to expect Mexican players to be under that strict discipline for 12, 18, 24 months. It ain't going to happen, my guy. They got lucky with Pauno. They bought into it. He got a lot of juice out of those dry lemons, but that's it. But I think Jaime's right. Mexican players need more of a Turco, a Piojo Herrera, who's gonna bullshit, who's gonna be there at the carne asada with you, who's gonna let you
Yeah,
go
but-
to a party after,
but
as
Piojo,
long as you're
nah,
delivering
man.
on the field.
Vas
Nah,
con
that-
la
you-
y poner los corridos.
You guys ignoring how it's not like America was just gonna let you do that fuckery and you were gonna get away with it. I mean, you
America
still
has America owns the press, bro. They can get away with
I
anything.
know. No, but I'm saying as a player, not wanting to do shit because they're running a tight ship as far as the people on top of the coach. Is why they've been able to do good even when they switch a coach. I mean, their bad season was under what was that? That RG guy that was at Real, and they broke all type of records, and that was like a
Solari.
bad season because because they crashed out in Liguilla. But I mean, most of the clubs would want to have achieved that because that was really actually a really good season, and and that was one of the I don't know if you guys remember when they did crash out, those photos got leaked of some party before the match, I believe. It was like this massive party that the players threw.
All I know is
Weren't they in a strip club? Ahí estaba el cabecita as well.
that there was a video that was leaked where they were like in their hotel room getting lap dances and stuff. And it
Yeah.
was
That's the one I'm thinking.
it was like nobody got disciplined, no one got in trouble. Everyone was
Okay,
just
but
like
how'd the team end up?
everybody was like laughing and like, oh haha, look at them. But nobody, like if a Chivas player did
Yeah.
that, oh dude, they would have crucified them. Like
The press, yeah.
Yeah,
The
you're
press,
absolutely
but I
right,
mean,
man.
the
Pollo
club
said it
probably
himself.
did. the club probably did like find them or did something. They're just not going to advertise it. But I think, yeah, and we talked about this what like a week or two ago from the Pelayes with Pollo Briseño, the podcast. I forgot the name of it, but it's a Pelayes podcast, pretty good. And Briseño pretty much leaves Pelayes. Pelayes can't even say anything because he says the difference, basically what you guys are saying. That Chivas, the press is going to kill you, and at America, the press, they have it more under control, so it's not gonna come down on you as much. And he says, and Pelaez just didn't know what to say. To his credit, he published it.
Dude.
He didn't say they have it under control. He said los protegen.
Yeah.
Allá los
Oh, there you go.
protegen.
All right.
There's a big difference. America doesn't control. Ya los protegen. And then Jaime, so that's your point. They weren't getting lap dances, man. In that video, they were literally fucking those girls. Like they were banging them on the couch. Like there was 4 players.
Damn.
2 of them were banging them. And
God
then
damn.
it was nothing. It was on nothing. Like, you don't hear like, oh, jugadores de la América,
Yeah.
orgia sexual, nothing. And then el pinche Pando, whatever his name was, he
Y el
got
Pando.
like, he had those allegations. We never know what came of them.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we were getting called rapists. That we, approve of that shit. And Amari had to like terminate his contract because of the bad press.
There was
like
5 players that he separated from the team because of that. It's like, bro,
Chofis was part of that.
Who?
La Chofi salió en. He was part of that package.
Chofis, Gallito,
He had a pretty
Alexis
fire
Peña,
pool party.
and I think Madueña and
El
Villalpando.
Trenecito.
Yeah, dude, it was.
And those are allegations, my guy. It wasn't an
Mhm.
actual video like the America one.
The Trophies pool party was video though. It was pretty good.
Nah, but it's just a little conga in the jacuzzi, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
¿Te pusiste celoso, Joel, o que no te invitó la Chofis?
Yeah, dude, that shit's crazy. I think that it's so crazy that you look at the difference when you are owned by a TV conglomerate, and Chivas is owned by fucking Herbalife. Like, bro, it's like we got no pull, we got no influence.
Yeah, man. That's how the cards roll. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change that pinche Wilas, man. They're looking hot. They're looking good. They're looking like they're going to win another title, another league title. The way they've been dominating the league.
Yeah, they've only lost once this season. 9 victories, 3 draws. They're at 30 points in first place. I don't know if Toluca or León have what it takes to beat them in 2 legs.
No, man. They made León look... No, they made Toluca look like shit. They beat them like 3-0. I think León, they tied 1-1. And then they just made Tigres look terrible with another 3-0. And they lost to Necaxa. I think that was like the upset. Like
Yeah,
losing to
Necaxa's beating everybody.
And then, I don't know, man. Crazy how Liguilla works. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Necaxa got their victory against Querétaro. And yeah, I mean, they're still a team that is up there. They're in 6th place. They, as of right now, would qualify for directly. No playing for them. We had Mazatlan beat Atlas 3-2. I swear, bro, I felt like Mazatlan, Atlas, and Juarez all play each other like every Friday. Oh my God. Juarez beat Puebla 2-0. And Toluca with that really good match against Pachuca 3-2. Canelo Angulo, also ex-Chivas, with the brace. And Alexis Vega with the goal of the week, shaking and baking everybody, including the goalie. Reminds me of like Fat Ronaldo when he did that at Inter. I will say the defending though was really bad.
Hey, but it was good enough a goal that Karim Benzema gave it a like.
Wow. Benzema should look into coming to Liga MX. Maybe Sergio Ramos has the influence.
Weren't they thinking of getting him for the Mundial de Clubes, Monterrey?
I don't know. I mean, that'd be really cool if they could.
And this is all rumors. You know, the Monterrey people, they like to think that every European in the world wants to come to Monterrey.
No, it's in it because of the connection with
Nah, man,
no,
it's just the press. I think they're called like multimedios. They're like the
Luka Modric se
biggest
va a retirar en Monterrey, acuérdate.
smoke screen motherfuckers,
No,
man.
it's-
Monterrey's press
dude.
is the worst.
No, that's possible. If you got the homie there,
Nah,
so he
man.
has,
I'm not
Sergio
saying
Ramos
it's
could
not
be
possible.
Coach
Like, it
Hill,
can.
Sergio Ramos
Dude,
le va a decir
Celaya.
It can. I'm just saying the
Remember Celaya?
Monterrey press likes to exaggerate.
I know.
They
You
say
remember
that
Celaya?
the whole country stops and freezes to watch their Clásico Regio.
Yeah, I know, but we've seen crazier. I mean, you remember Celaya? They ended up with 3 ex-Real Madrid players. Butragueño, Hugo Sanchez, and Sanchez. Oh no, Luis was it Michel? I don't know, we had 3. 3 from the, I forgot what the fuck they were called. So I mean, and that was Celaya, bro. That's the bottom of the table team. So yeah, I think it's possible. Like if we just go and fuck around for 6 months, collect some good change, you know. So like it's kind of like an adventure type of thing. They're pretty much retired.
Emilio Butragueño, Hugo Sanchez, and Rafael Martin Vasquez all played for Celaya.
Well, it's Liga MX. You never know. I mean,
Yeah,
right now the
Ronaldinho
signings that we have
Querétaro.
are crazy. You know, we had Guardiola in Liga MX.
That's
We
true.
had,
Yeah, there you
know,
go.
it's one of those things. I don't know. It's probably
Bebeto
the
Bebeto
tacos,
Nesa.
the salsa verde. Who knows?
I think because they'll tell you what you want to hear. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember there was the dude from Querétaro when he went to go to sign Ronaldinho to see if he was interested, and he pretty much said, you know, when you asked him, "What do you expect from me?" and he's like, "Just have fun," you know. Pretty much let him know we're not going to put all these conditions on you. Just show up to the game.
I don't know, man. I think there was probably some sketchy stuff going on there to convince them. Because you gotta realize, this Querétaro, they've been like connected, linked with cartel. This is Ronaldinho who needed money. He spent
Yeah.
prison time in Paraguay for fake passports and stuff.
That was
And
after
you know
though.
what's crazy? He was actually in somewhere in the Midwest like a few weeks ago, like for a U.S. Open Cup game. I don't know if he got paid for that, but he showed up and like waved like for 10 minutes. But I don't know.
He played, or he was just.
No, he just showed up like as a fan. There was like some random Midwest like
That is random.
3rd division team. It was the weirdest thing in the world.
Wow. That's super random. Yeah, I think Ronaldinho has some shady ties. He's kind of like, hey man, I gotta just pay my bills. Where can you get me booked?
He has to pay his lawyers.
We had, like you guys mentioned earlier, America beats Tigres 3-0 and quite comfortably, all leading into what was supposed to be the match of the weekend, Chivas Cruz Azul. And boy, what a fucking terrible match for Chivas. They end up losing to Cruz Azul. Sepulveda with a it wasn't Sepulveda. It was another player with a great header. Luca Romero with the assist. And this team under new management is absolutely dog shit. And I can't believe that Espinoza is coaching us, bro. That guy needs to go at the end of the season.
Oh, okay, cool. I For a second I thought you were talking about Cruz Azul because we're going through the exact same issues. It just so happens that Chivas is about 1,000 times worse than Cruz Azul.
Hey, dude, I'll take an ugly win any day.
Yeah,
Eh,
honestly, Chivas should have won that game, bro. Chivas was creating all chances, pero como pendejos, missing everything. Cruz
What else
Azul
is
what
new?
had like 2 chances, I think. That was it. And Cruz Azul was like parking the bus. They showed up to park the bus, which was crazy because if you actually watched them today, they actually had possession today and they were trying to play against America and, do a little bit better. And against Chivas, they parked the fucking bus, fucking pussies.
well, hold on. America gave them like the entire center field without a fucking striker. So that was the difference between this game and the one against Chivas. Like in this game, they just had the run of the ball, which is something that is kind of concerning because yeah, they're gonna go back home with a dick full of confidence of hey, we tied 0-0. Now we just gotta close it off at home. Yeah, this was fairly easy. Let's do it again. And that's not gonna be the case. They're not gonna repeat that lineup. Fucking Jardine, just because of who he is, he's not going to repeat that lineup. That lineup was weak. The defense of Cruz Azul is way too strong for them. So we shall see what happens on that side.
Yeah, we shall see. But going back to the Chivas Cruz Azul match, just very uninspired, and some of the substitutions were just very questionable by Espinosa. He left Cade Callan the whole game. He was running around like a headless chicken out there. He took out Piojo, and he bring in Brizuela and bro, Dan Wilke. I don't know what's going on with Pulido. I don't know if maybe he's not at 100%, but
They said he had a bout of chorro.
oh, okay. Well, shit, put a diaper on his ass and let him play. He's still be, we already have a player wearing a diaper on the pitch. It's Chichabuelo, and there's nothing wrong with putting one on Pulido and having him, play even with the runs. I'm sure he'll do a lot more and contribute to the team.
Yeah, dude. And like you said, man, Espinosa has to go. Fuck Espinosa. Because the whole reason he was brought in is because he won titles with Tapatio. He knows the youth players. There's going to be a lot of new faces on the first team roster. And what has been one of his main go guys as a sub? Pinchi Conejo
Yeah,
Brizuela.
bro.
It's not like consistently that's one of his first subs. Or like, oh, he'll start him. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Is that why you got brought in to do what everybody else has been doing, playing the guy that's about to retire? What are you gonna do next? Call Chapito up, tell Chapito to come start? Like, what the fuck? But he's an Atlas fan, man. Go check his Twitter. He's an Atlas fan.
Yeah, that's the thing that boggles my mind is he was, involved with Tapatio and how well they were doing in you know, the divisions below. And, most of this lineup is old heads, bro. And I'm like, dude, Gamberos is like in such great form. Like, why is he not getting the start? Or why is he not getting enough playing time? I saw something about how he is refusing to re up with Chivas, and he might write out his contract, and that's probably why they've been icing him, because he might just go to Europe for free.
So the Cesar Luis Merlo, he's like the Fabricio Romano of like Liga MX. He just posted an article like an hour ago saying that Chivas wants his release clause to Europe to be 15 million, and he thinks is way too much. He wants to lower, but he said the communication is still good. His plan is not to leave on the free.
Uh huh.
That they're still negotiating. So as of right now, everything's still cool. Both sides are still hashing it out. But I understand where he's coming from. 15 million does seem excessive.
That's a
But
good price.
yeah, I mean, for him to leave at 15, but due to his age, if it's the players also got to understand, man, like I can't give you a first team contract, pay you the good bucks, and then sell you for 3 fucking million. Like, there has to be like an even ground. Like, I'm gonna pay you well. I'm gonna give you a first team contract, But you have to leave at least for 10 million. And if you think you can't leave for 10 million, then you're not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that 15 is by today's standards is still peanuts.
I think
It's not a
Gamberos.
lot.
I think if he plays his cards right, he will agree to a lower release clause, but with that addition that if another team sells him in the future, like they get a percentage.
Yeah, but the percentage keeps. I think. Well, I'm pretty sure that's on the table too.
I mean, I know Cruz Azul got paid when
Yeah,
when Santi went to Milan.
Yeah, they got more money.
I mean, that's just the way business is done nowadays, especially selling players. But, unless you're a fucking idiot, which Chivas has proven time and time again
that they are.
as to how they don't know how to do business.
Yeah.
Like, wait, whatever happens to Chiva Cola? Another
Chiva-
failed thing that Chivas tried to do.
No, they've been pretty decent with selling players. They sell players abroad. I don't think they've
¿Hace
failed there.
cuánto, güey? No mames. ¿Hace cuánto?
Well, they don't have the better players. That's part of it, and the Mex clubs offer more money at the same
Here
time.
we go again with the whole we have a limited roster because we play with nothing but beaners.
No, but like Cruz Azul bought Orbelin, so it's not like
You guys just bought
they have.
Chiquete too. What the fuck are you talking about? Chiquete would have gone in Europe if you guys didn't
And
come offering more money.
Y también
and
Antuna.
then
And we still gave you less money than what
Pizarro
you
left to
wanted.
Monterrey. So I mean, I don't think they're
Chicharito
bad
al
for
Manchester
business.
United.
Okay. So notice how all the teams that you guys sold to are within Mexico. There is zero
what I
exportation
said.
happening.
Well, yeah,
Omar Bravo,
because
Real Oviedo.
That's because dumbasses like you are willing to pay double the market rate.
yeah,
You
If
mean scalpers and money launderers like us?
Chiquete
Yes.
to Europe is like 6-7 million. And you guys come in and offer 13-14 million. ¿A quién chingado se lo van a vender?
We
and
offered
even
it,
to
but
the
did we
player,
pay it?
and that's the other part. Even the player
Wait, y no lo
gets
están ni
more
aprovechando, güey.
money.
He's still at the bench.
No, and this is the other
He
thing.
lost
The,
his
the player
national
also
team
get more.
call-ups, bro. He had national team call-ups with Chivas.
Yeah,
Goes to Chemos and he loses that. Valen
Exactly.
pito.
All right,
yeah,
all right.
and the
That
wages
should
too.
happen.
People don't talk about
Be-
the wages.
Miren, cabrones, that should happen because our coach left. Now, if you want to talk about wages, once again, you're talking about a broke club issue. All right, because we don't have a salary cap.
No.
Podemos
No,
ganar
I'm
a puro
talking about
pinche
Europe. Just because you
billetazo.
go to Europe doesn't mean it's a lot of these players go on a pay cut. And so that's the thing. They don't all want to go. Alexis Vega said it himself. He was like, "Fuck that. I'm gonna stay here. I don't want to go do that noise." And other players aren't gonna say it, but that's that's one of the risks they have to take. Um, JJ Mack took that risk, and it didn't work out for him. He ended up just missing 6 months. So it's hit or miss. So I mean, you can't blame players when they'll take the buyout and they could use that money to open an OXXO and they retire. They got their business set up.
Or Canelo's Tacos.
And Canelo's.
Yo, if I'm Hugo Camberos, if you're listening to this, fucking write out your contract. Do not re-up.
Oh.
And go to Europe, bro. Go like they're like this team is so fucking demotivating, like so depressing to watch. Like I don't want to see this kid tied up any longer than he needs to, because I know Chivas are gonna fucking ruin his career, bro. He needs to go and he needs to go now.
Yeah, but what Euro team? If the team's more
Any
interested,
team,
you
bro.
want to bomb it.
Bro,
Hey, go to Finland.
Wait. Hold up. Pause. You've been a big hater on Belgium lately. You would even take him to leave on the free for Belgium?
bro, I would love to see him go anywhere because, like, all right, you don't see players like Gamberos like that often, bro. He's very young, he's very good, and I think like we're gonna ruin his career. Like I've seen this so many fucking times with other young players.
See, the player would ruin his career. Jaime,
No,
right.
the
No,
player
bro.
makes
He's
the
right.
choices, dude.
What do you
No,
mean
bro.
the player
You
ruins
get-
his career?
you-
No, let him go, man. Dude, for the sake of the national team and hopefully him getting a chance to go to the World Cup next year, he needs to go to Europe in the summer ASAP.
Look,
No mames,
Look at,
wait.
for
Chivas es un
example-
pinche fracaso. Now, really quickly, I just want to point this out, and then you can finish your point. I feel like Jaime is about 2 seasons from burning all of his Chivas gear. Like he's
He is,
right
bro.
about
I
in
think
there,
you're
Bro,
right.
it's bad,
already has the
bro. It's bad.
kerosene.
I don't even have
He has
social
the
media
ker-
right now. I'm not even seeing the memes or anything. I'm sure there's a lot of shit talking going on with you. Bro, it's bad, bro. It's bad.
So, ¿qué? 1 season?
I'm,
Lo que
never,
resta de esa temporada?
I'm not
but-
Cambarrayas, but
But
dude,
see,
it's,
look at
Bro,
like
you
the
can-
recent trajectory.
You can wear an Atletico shirt. It's about the same.
no, I would
Same
never.
color scheme. You know what?
Athletic-
Even worse. He's gonna
Athletic
start
Bilbao.
rooting. He's gonna start rooting for La Femenil.
I
That's
just,
what's gonna happen. He's gonna trade it all in for Femenil.
No, he'll probably become a Monterrey fan.
no,
or some shit like
I'm
that.
never.
Yeah,
I'll
I think it is
I'll
with,
never switch teams
Okay, sister.
unless they relocate like they did with every other team that I associate with. Then it's for sure like I'm done with the league. But no, Chivas is depressing to watch, and I don't want to see this kid, get stuck with a contract, and then he's just trapped in Chivas, and then he ends up going to Rayados or another team in Liga MX. It's like, bro, like right now his stock is really high. Fucking, he needs to hold out, do a Huescas, fuck it.
All right, really
Yeah,
quickly.
that too
Is
a
his
lot of
stock
Wait,
really
hey,
high,
when
or
you
is
say
this
do
just
a
dick riding?
Huescas, you gotta clarify if you mean like driving really fast and almost killing somebody, or like playing.
Damn.
Damn, bro. I do it because look at Chiquete, right? Chiquete is a prime example. Like this kid was getting offers, and what did we do, man? We just, we fucking
No, he
cock
signed,
blocked
right?
him.
He had to sign. No, he signs. That's the thing. You and your representative, you make the choice. So it's not like he just chose to stay in the league. You can't really blame the club. I don't think they're holding them at gunpoint. But you see like trajectories. Like for example, Vela left at 17. He goes to Arsenal, but then he got like moved around a bunch of times. And then you had Chicharo, right? Same generation, and he went straight to Man U. So if you're playing good, doesn't matter how the club's doing. You just have to play your best. You're gonna get noticed. If you're playing good, you
Dude,
will get
Chicharito was
noticed.
like
It's just obvious.
that was like a one in a lifetime star that we had. It's like it doesn't happen that often, dude.
You gotta
Well,
wait for
Vela
the
was there
regen to
too.
come
He was the
around.
same.
Yeah, we gotta wait for the regen to come out in another couple years.
Pero no mames, güey. También, like, you talk about Chicha, but I know you guys are going to dismiss this, but Chicha's stock went up after the World Cup.
Yeah,
That's
but he
why
was
he
already.
went.
But he was already
He was.
he was
Yeah,
already
he was already
signed.
sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop sniffing paint, you fucking Chemo. You don't know what we're talking about.
Like, that's what really raised his stock, and that's what gave him the trajectory that he
No,
had.
güey.
No,
He was
dude.
Jugadores, güey.
So,
He was
hubiera ido a
already
picar
united
piedra, güey.
from
He
the World
was
Cup.
clapping South American cheeks, bro. He was tearing
He
that ass
signed
up in
that
Libertadores.
he signed that deal with Man U in like April, and I remember because like I thought it was like an old April Fool's joke. Like it was real, dude.
Yeah.
And they
that's
even
right.
they even admitted like, oh, we're so lucky that we got him before the World Cup because we would have had to pay a lot more.
Yeah, there would have been way more competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Too much paint sniffing there, yes.
It's like when Michael Jordan was drafted by the Bulls, and then he went to the Olympics, and then they all realized how great of a basketball player he was. But no, with Gamberos, just to end that one, dude. Like, good for him for holding out, and if it happens to, affect his minutes. I mean, this season's already over for Chivas. I don't even think we're gonna get into the play-in. So it's like, fuck it, dude.
Damn.
Just fucking hold out. Don't sign anything. Like, write out your contract, and you'll be a free man in a couple months.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
he's
sure
still getting
he.
called up to the U20 national team. But I understand what you're saying, man. I feel like Chivas is going to be lurking around that 15th to 9th place region for quite some time. So that's gonna bring you down as a player. I mean, how much can you
No
stand
way.
out
If you
when
if
your
you
team
look
is
good,
ass?
you still stand out. Camoranesi was in Chievo. I don't know if it was Chievo or Chievo Verona, which got relegated, and then he gets taken to Juventus. If you're good, you're good. It's the quality shows, man.
I
Cream
know,
rises
but
to the top.
And
Chivas
el,
have a terrible like track record
I'm just saying,
of fucking this up, bro, for players.
Bro, when your
but
team is
that's not the
ass and you
players,
don't
man.
make
It's
it
the
into the
players.
playoffs, there's less eyes on you. It's
Exactly.
that simple.
No way.
And guess
Anything,
what?
dude, as long as you
Fucking
play, as long as you get
Pumas made you
PT.
slide down the tabla general. All
en
right.
el Jalisco, dude, en el Jalisco estaban scouts from the Netherlands, so they were either scouting Camberos or Mateo Chavez, one of the two.
Why
So
not both?
I'm with Joel. I'm with Joel.
Yeah.
If you're good, they're they're already watching you, no matter if the team sucks or not.
I know.
Wait,
Loco Garcia
who
was
says
getting
that they went to
scouted
see
by
you
TSD
guys?
at Chivas USA.
They heard that there was a
So,
big team coming to town, so they went to scout the Cruz Azul players. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Look, dude, no one's gonna pay 15 million for Camberos. I'm sorry, man.
oh,
That is a life sentence if he decides to sign that shit.
that's peanut, Jaime.
Yeah, it's peanuts, man. But depending for the caliber player, like America sold Edson and Lainez for that amount, but as
See,
championship players, though, they were competing on top of the league. They were winning titles, so you can justify the 15 million.
Pero también, it
good,
might be
good, bro.
peanuts, but it's peanuts that come with shackles attached to them. All right. Because if they're paying that much for you, they want a return on investment. So, therefore, how much is your release cost going to be? How long is your contract going to have to be for? Like, there's more to it. So,
And let's
it's
be
not that
honest,
easy.
he's not going to show up to Europe develop. He's still going to need to develop. So why are you paying 15 million to develop somebody?
Well, no,
Tiene que correr con la grandeza. Finish up his.
it's not. It's not so much the whole develop thing, because I mean, you could say the same thing about Chicharo. It's not like he had that many years playing first division, and they didn't have to develop him. They didn't teach him how to score those goals. He didn't pick that up in 2 weeks. You know, so it's. I mean, you're right. It's not that easy to develop, but the development comes from playing. It's. I think a lot of times we think about it as the coaching, and then the youth coaches said, yeah, that helps. But if you're good, and you just get a lot of playing time day in day out, you'll develop. You'll become good. And it's like you saw Salcido, dude. He didn't get scouted till he was like 19. He never even played at a club, and
Pero
that's part of it. How do you
But dude, you're talking
how
about
do you get good?
generational
Playing,
talents right now.
playing.
well,
You're talking
that's
about
But
not
that's
even
another
that
Chicharito,
thing.
way.
Salcido, or they're like top 10 Mexican national team players of all
Yeah.
time.
Well,
The other thing
that's
about
Cambero's
Chicharito that you
thing,
have to
though.
keep in mind is that it's the same story as Santi, right? He's coming from a lineage of soccer players. So he was a pretty safe bet.
Yep.
True, but I mean that's the whole thing with Camberos right now. We don't see him as just another striker. We see him with a high ceiling. So that's why. And Chivas obviously sees him as that and values him as that. If that's their 15 million, because that's their bet. It's not 15 million because I don't want you to leave. It's like we believe you're worth this much.
Yeah. I don't know. Ooh, don't sign the contract, man. Write it out. Feel free to screw them over. At this point, bro, he's such a great talent, man. I think him and Lamine Yamal, right, were in the same tournament, and he was the better player supposedly. So, we just don't want to hold back his progress by being hella greedy. And it's not like we're gonna win a championship anytime soon with this fucking team or this owner.
Well,
Hasta
They
2027
got
no vamos a ganar otro championship. So
they
See,
get
this guy gets
blindsided.
it. He knows how it goes. Every 10 years, baby, that way you can keep calling yourself a grande.
No,
fíjate,
I
nosotros
don't think the
ganamos en
team
los
is that
últimos
far
5 o
off.
6.
I don't think this team is that far off. I think they just need like two more good players. I was hoping they could land um, Orbelin. That didn't happen, but a good two players, and they'll be competing because it's not like a lot of these players already they reached the semis. They've been there. I think they can pull it off. That's
Two
with Liguilla,
more,
you know.
man. This I know you don't watch the games. They don't need no two more. They need a center
Yeah,
back, a right back, a midfielder, a left wing, and a striker. They need 5 good quality players.
yeah, but you could. That's part of why they're developing some of these players, and then the other players come in that are like,
No, wait,
like
look at
you,
this.
you were just
They
saying,
let
you were just saying when you're surrounded.
Go for 13 million, 15 million,
You,
something along
you
that
just said
range.
earlier, if you're
And
surrounded by better
Tapias, the guy
players,
they
you play
brought
better.
in, they brought him in for 1 million. You were crucifying Pinchy, uh, the guy from Madrid, Hierro, for
Me,
bringing
Iron Man.
Marin. You and Pinchy, the
I
other
don't even know who
grease
Marin
sniffer,
is.
Ricardo.
I
You
don't
guys
even
were
know who Marin is,
crucifying
bro.
Hierro for finding a Chivas striker in La Segunda División with Celaya, Marin, that no one had ever heard of
I never
Marin.
said anything
And then
about
he's
Italian
over here
man.
finding players for
That wasn't me, bro.
500,000. And then that people are like sucking his wee for bringing Mexicans from second division.
I don't know why that sounds so
And
funny.
Yeah, no, that wasn't me, my guy.
and
So
and then
recorded.
and then what does Chivas do? Now they bring in Tapia for $1 million to replace Chiquete, a national team player, till he joined Cruz Azul. That's your response? If you're gonna let someone that caliber go, you gotta bring someone who's has the potential to reach that.
Yeah.
Not someone that the only
Yeah, but no
reason
one was
he's there is
selling.
because his sister's hot.
But that's the thing, no one's selling though.
What? I need proof.
Who, Tapia's sister?
Yeah,
Yeah, she a
bro.
baddie, my guy.
You need to send those DMs, bro. I need to verify. But dude, yeah, dude. Right now it's a whole shit show, and I hope Espinosa does not renew. Or I mean, I don't know, dude. I hope he's not our coach for next season.
they're gonna ask him, man. I don't see it. No está haciendo bien el trabajo. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'd be surprised
I,
if his contract was longer than the end of the season. You know, that they gave him like a 2-year deal. That would be like stupid.
Nah, they probably gave him like a 6-month deal with an extension si llegas a la liguilla or something like that.
No mames, way. He doesn't deserve it.
No,
Like,
pues no, güey.
todos llegan a la pinche liguilla. 12 cabrones llegan a la liguilla. No mames. Now, something that I want to touch on that was mentioned earlier was Cade Cowell. Yeah, you might not like him. You might not like the form that he's in. But unfortunately, he was also one of the better players for Chivas in this last game. In fact, I would say he was probably the best player.
Really?
Yeah.
I was looking at a different game then. I don't know.
Güey, no mames, estaba partiendo la madre por cada pinche balón. He was the one who was like generating danger. He was the one who had like a couple clear shots on goal.
Dude, I agree with you, Abdias. The only thing is que se ve bien pinche awkward when he gets the ball.
Yeah,
Se
he
ve
has
bien
a
pinche
terrible touch.
patarato. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Yeah, he's dangerous. He gives dangerous passes, but es que he looks super awkward.
He has the touch of a rapist.
Cabrón, what the fuck?
God.
You mean he's nice with it in the dark?
No, man, it's like it's not very subtle. His first touch. Yeah, it's terrible. Like, and I get it. He's got strengths, right? He's very fast. He's a muscular guy. Like he can, move his weight around a little bit. And I just think his IQ is not there sometimes. He doesn't do a great job of looking at the open player. And, I commend him for going the whole 90, especially because he kind of fell out of the starting 11 to begin the season. I think Oscar Garcia knew something that we didn't, and he started Camberos and believed in him, and I thought Camberos should have at least got more minutes in that game, and definitely not putting Kone, bro. Kone is he's old. He's yesterday's news, bro. I don't know what he's doing to get those minutes.
I just
But
want to say something.
Yeah,
Yeah, there isn't a player on this team that should be going overseas. The quality isn't good enough right now for Chivas, and believe me, the fact is that there isn't a lot of quality Mexicans currently playing in this league that are youthful, that are looking at. I think it's more of a detriment to how player development is going right now within Liga MX. And if I was over in Europe. I was actually in the UK last week. I didn't get to watch the game, but people talk very highly of the Mexican players, and people talk very highly of Chicharito and his stint at Manchester United. I know it may be controversial as a player, but like they love the fact that he came over only on like 8 million pounds. It was nothing, and they made up the jersey sales alone. It was looked at as a great buy. Chivas may be two players away from being competitive in my opinion, in the aspect of a mid-table team in a playoff situation. But I believe you're going to need at least. I believe that one of them said you need like 5 players to actually be a top tier Liga MX team. I agree with that, but this is the problem once again that comes into play when you only play Mexican players. It's you budget yourself this, and if you're not developing them, it comes at a much higher cost. And I agree that with the American, I hope he really does find form, because I really do want him to be sold off to a European team so it could bring much more. I think it's a great opportunity to reach over to the Mexican American fan base and connect to them and to show them, because these young kids, my nephew doesn't watch Liga MX like I do. And so if you could see a guy like Caden Cow make the journey from the United States to Mexico to a top team in Europe, or not just, and it doesn't have to be a top tier team in Europe, but just a team that gets he plays well and consistently on TV in the Premier League, or something like that. I think that would do really good to connect to a Mexican American audience in the United States.
yeah, for sure. Thanks for chiming in, Rio Orozco.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Cade's first goal is to get capped on the national team. I think he's also not making a lot of noise there. I know he was at one point part of the national team, but right now he's not even being considered. And I think that's like step one of getting noticed to go abroad.
so then what you're telling me is that there's a chance for the one-time switch.
I don't know. I don't even think he'd get called up for the Mexican national team right now.
No way, he wouldn't.
He's got to dye his hair blonde again.
I still think Chivas could get good money for him in the MLS.
He'll
Same way
probably-
Monterrey got money from Brandon Vasquez. I think they could
yeah.
still recover a good amount for him.
I was gonna
Do you
say.
think they'll resell him?
I think realistically, his next move will be back to the MLS for sure.
Like, honestly, what I'm gonna say the problem with Cade is, and I mentioned it, like, I don't know, I want to say last season, if not further back, is that he's a product of the American soccer system. When your parents don't know the sport and all that they're telling you is be aggressive, Cade, get the ball, Cade, be aggressive, be fast.
Yeah.
And that's it. He doesn't know anything else other than that. Se
That's true.
parte la madre, game in and game out. Right? He gets the ball, he creates the space, pero luego se caga. Leave him alone in front of goal, and he doesn't know how to finish. Like, he is
He knew
a
how to
physical brute.
he knew how to finish in MLS because the defending is atrocious. Like he racked up quite a bit of goals. That's probably why he showed up on Chivas' radar. But it's obviously different in Liga MX where your defenders are a lot more tactical and are better, just plain simple.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
unfortunately, I think that's what his ceiling is gonna be, or have that be his downfall.
It's gonna sound fucked up, but he reminds me of Jurgen Damm, but with muscles.
Mm,
Jurgen is fast, he's playing for the Oakland Roots now. I saw him the other day and like dude still has like speed. It's just he doesn't know what to do with anything with. He's like that kid from the Mighty Ducks, the one that was like super fast but didn't know how to break. Yeah, he's like that guy.
Julian is scrappy, man. That's the one thing that I'll give him, right? Or at least he used to be scrappy and knew how to operate within space.
The only players that actually are getting minutes, that this kid number 54 for Chivas, Miguel Gomez, he was featured in that friendly when they came up here, and he played the full 90, and he has won over the starting spot over Mosul, which I think is interesting. I don't know if that's just temporary. I don't know if Mosul's, you know, uh, what is it called? He has like an injury or anything like that. But that's the one player I've noticed that has came up into the lineup, and the other one is Raul Martinez. But he's definitely no Chiquete Orozco for sure. I wanted to bring something up. I was watching the Pulisic documentary. I was just curious because I really don't know much about this kid, and they stress the fact that uh, the move to Milan was to was very strategic, and it was to win over the fan base in America, sell more jerseys. I did not know that AC Milan is owned by American, and also like the Yankees are also part of that ownership group. So a lot of it just had to do with let's get an American on the team, Captain America, and yeah, I mean that's starting to make a lot more sense as to why AC Milan, bought him, and it kind of makes you wonder if that was also the reason why they looked at Santi Jimenez, to try and win over the Mexican fan base that we have here in the States that are willing to spend that money on a Milan jersey.
I mean, if there's one thing that Americans are good at is taking money from your pocket. All right, selling a product to you, which in this case was Milan.
I don't know, man.
But does Santi have
Pulisic,
that kind of
he's a
pull
good
though
guy,
with the
but
Mexican crowd?
I don't know if you guys saw the video where he's like in his golf cart and he says that he's playing very good week in week out, but he doesn't think he has it to stay at that level. Like he sees the hunger and like the motivation that these other guys have, and he just doesn't feel like he has it. And then that was played before the Panama game, and then they go lose to Panama, then they lose to Canada. So for him like to openly admit he just doesn't have that will, that desire is pretty interesting because most big name players don't say that. But despite that, he's still throwing Milan on his back. Porque pinche Santi, man, he's been ass for Milan.
He missed the
Like he's just
PK.
yeah, like he's just been ass. Like he got eliminated by his former team.
Yep.
And then like he had a game where he like scored in the league. And then after that, he's just like he hasn't been that good.
Yeah, he
No mames way. There was a game where he scored. What was it?
Yeah, it was like his
One
second
goal.
game with them. It
No,
was
no,
like
but
his
he
second
scored
game.
one goal, but then his teammates scored 2 own goals and cost them the match. Like the whole Milan squad has been ass. It's not just Santi. All right. Like it's the same thing as when he was with Mexico.
I know, but
He can't do it alone.
Dude, you don't even have to look that far. A massive game against Napoli and he misses a PK. Sorry, bro. That's not.
Yeah,
Yo.
his
I'm not
PKs
here
are not
defending
his
his
thing,
PK
man.
form.
No,
All right.
PKs are not his thing, bro. Like he definitely needs to stop with those. When we had the qualifiers, I think there was a PK versus Jamaica away in Jamaica, and he missed that one too. It's just not his thing. Leave it at. When Mexico has a penalty shootout in the World Cup, Santi is not one of the guys that takes it. Like you gotta put your pride to the side and just realize you're not good at them.
Yeah, and honestly, even when I saw that miss against Napoli, I was like, "Fuck, bro. All right, Santi. I don't think this is your game."
Yeah, and for those who are unfamiliar with Serie A, um, everybody absolutely in the South hates the North. So if you're in Naples, you don't fuck with Milan because they got money. You don't fuck with Juventus. Like the South is like blue collar. So that is a very serious rivalry, and for Milan, it's embarrassing to lose to a bunch of bumpkins. And at least that's how they view the South. Bunch of gangsters, a bunch of thugs. So for Santi to miss that PK, I know they were already down 2-0, but it does not help your stock.
I mean, just to set the record clear, that's the same way that I view people from the South in the U.S.
Wow.
I mean, am I wrong?
I actually saw a map of Mexico, and it was like uh, states, if there were like countries from around the world, and like the northern part, like Monterrey and all that, was like the U.S., and then the southern part, instead of like Oaxaca and all that shit, it was like Guatemala, Nicaragua, Jalisco was like Spain. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Wait, yes, I disagree. When you say South, you mean like South, like Texas and stuff, or are you talking about like Mississippi, Louisiana, and all that bullshit?
The
I'm talking about
South, is that
south
what
of
you're
the
talking
Mason Dixon. All right, so you take that however you want. Like Texas, bunch of broke people, bunch of broke beaners. Like Louisiana, I don't want to say the word too loud because I might get canceled. But yeah, no, they're still broke. They have flooding issues. They do all of these things. Like it's just nah, bro. When the floods come, there's a reason why they'll be taken away.
Speaking of which, have you guys been noticing, like, for certain, Juve has been posting a lot of happy
Yeah.
National Taco Day or Mexican Flag Day, and last I checked, they have no Mexican players, so
They're just
they're very
gaslighting
much
us, bro.
exactly they're very much interested in the Mexican market. So my question is, maybe Mexico has shitty players and shitty talent, but by proxy, because these teams smell money, right? They understand that, hey, if we import a Mexican player, if we in some way incorporate a Mexican facet to our team, whether it be a bench rider, somebody, that it's going to get viewership. And then is that Mexico's ticket to get players exposure overseas? Not that that is the ticket to fix all, but I mean, isn't that the better option than currently presents itself?
Yeah, I'm those Juve posts rub me the wrong way because they just gaslighting us, bro. They're like, all right, if you guys are about that life, then fucking invest in one, right? And who was the player that's been rumored by them? Johan.
Johan, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been said that the Mexican fan base is the best fan base out there, right? Look at Mexico at every World Cup. There's people who waste their yearly salary, their life savings, to go to one match. And they always say Mexicans bring the party, Mexicans bring the money. They do all of this. So if that's our way to getting some type of respect and for our players to get some exposure, I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, it could work out, but also the league, if they were smart, like I said, they would find a way to get the league out to other parts of the world under one package because, there's Mexicans everywhere. And then, shit like that. It's like here, like in St. Louis, when you have like chapters of like Premier League clubs, Bundesliga clubs. Motherfuckers never even been to Germany or these teams, but it's just because it's accessible that they become fans for some random reason. So I don't know. We'll see. But speaking of Juve, if you ask Grok, like the little AI thing here on X, who's the most corrupt soccer club of all time, it tells you it's Juve.
That's funny. They definitely are very corrupt. I view Liga MX as the snake that's like eating its own tail. Just it's too greedy for its own good. Can't see the bigger picture. And yeah, I think with a little bit more about that Pulisic documentary, it's very interesting to see his perspective. I know you mentioned the whole golf cart incident, and like he didn't want that to be recorded. In fact, his whole life, he's like a very private person, and it's only because his best friend was asked to be part of this documentary. Like his best friend just started recording him and all that, so he has a lot of footage that we wouldn't otherwise have. But he's a very private person. He's very like insecure, and yeah, he's definitely a head case. Him admitting that he doesn't have like the desire to be the best like every day, like the consistency, like just man, dude. As an American, I'd be fucking deflated if that guy was my hero, bro. I'd be like, well, what is this fucking pussy like? Yeah,
I
dude.
don't know, man. That's one of the things that I think the American soccer system does to a lot of players because once you get to the point that he's at, you're burned out because you've been playing since you were 4 years old.
I don't
You've
think he
been
came up
going through
right there
travel
yet.
soccer. You've been doing all of those things. Like his lineage is the fact that his mom and dad were former NCAA players. So this shit was beat. I don't want to say beaten into him, but pretty much like bred into him. And he grows up in that limelight and that life, and you just get tired of it. It's one of those things that when you ask former players about their kids playing at the lower levels and things like that, and they're like, hey, do you think they're going to make it? And their resounding answer is always no, because they don't have the drive, they don't have the hunger, they don't have what it takes to be elite at these levels, much less to be consistent.
I also think like the system here doesn't benefit, young players. I have my nephew. He's like 14, and I went to go watch one of his games. They had a scrimmage against a team that is in the, I guess, the premier level. I didn't know that there's levels to this shit at that age, but they're a team that's like really really good. They're like a step below like MLS next, and that's yeah. I saw the difference in quality. They lost pretty bad, and then he also mentioned to me that he has a friend who's in MLS next. I'm like, damn, bro, at 14, he's already like that good, and he's playing for the Sac Republic Academy. But basically in America, it's like if you want to go pro, I guess if you do it through the American system, is you have to go to college and then you go to the MLS draft. But to go pro and be the best in the world, like you just got to go to Europe and you basically got to put it all on the line and skip college, right? You got to just hope that you get a contract with a European team, and that's basically what the best players in the world do, and it's a huge gamble, and I don't think a lot of players at that age are willing to make that decision.
Yeah, and here's not so much like about development. It's way too protected. Like here, like you can't head the ball to reach like a certain age It's just not allowed, in the youth leagues. While you have kids in Argentina, Brazil, heading the fuck out of a ball at 5, 6 years old. They're not worried about CTE or something like that. And then another thing, like in these Euro countries, they've started getting rid of 11 versus 11. Like you're seeing a lot of countries where they start playing 11 versus 11, like at 14, 15 years old.
Yep.
Because it makes no sense for you to be out on the field with 11 players while you're trying to develop.
Hmm.
So instead, even like La Liga, they have one called like Futuras Estrellas de la Liga, and it's all 7 versus 7 small fields. So then you realize why when they get older, their technique is so good because they've just been playing
Yeah.
nonstop. These small spaces, they have to decide quick, as opposed to that 11-11 here. And here is not so much about the development; it's so many private clubs that everyone wants to win to be the top private club in their area to be able to recruit more players that have paying parents that think if they pay $20,000-$30,000 a year in travel ball, that their kid's gonna have a chance at going pro.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up. There was a famous Dutch. He was like a coach. Worst Heinz. I think that was his name. Um, but he mentioned that like you shouldn't even be playing 11 on 11 until you're like 14, 15, and that you should focus on like like you mentioned like small like I think at the young age like 5, 6, 7 they have 2 goals, no goalies, and it's 3-on-3. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like 2 goals on each side, and they just learn how to like the basics, right? And they just get really good at doing that. And I think about my childhood and I'm like, dude, they threw us out there 11 on 11. I'm like 5 years old. Half the players aren't even fucking paying attention, and they're like picking their boogers or like just not even doing anything. They're not involved in the
Bro,
game.
a lot of kids are just looking at the sky. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I see it all the time.
I remember I played against this one team, and the defender's like, "Hey, look, I caught a ladybug," and I'm just like, "What?" And I get the ball, and I just like run into the goal and score. I'm like, that was the easiest goal ever because this fucking defender was like too busy catching a fucking ladybug. Like, wow, dude, the system has failed American soccer.
Part of the issue is the fact that they don't have a soccer culture, right? They don't, dude. What kid aspires to grow up and be a soccer player?
I think FIFA has helped, like the video game has helped bring awareness to the sport. It's definitely a lot more popular than it used to be. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll definitely see jerseys out and about. Like I go to the mall or something, and it's weird, like seeing little white kids walking around with their soccer jersey. Usually, it's like a Man City, Inter Miami, Argentina, or something like that.
Barcelona, a lot of
Yeah, but
Barca.
yeah, a lot of Barca, Cristiano, a lot of Arsenal too. I don't know what's up with American obsession with Arsenal, but a lot of Arsenal, and yeah, I definitely see a lot more than I would never see it when I was growing up. If I was growing up and I saw you with a soccer jersey and you were American, I would suddenly be like amazed. I would try to like become your best friend. Like, how do you know about soccer?
Yeah.
And now it just seems like way more common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think social media has helped. The internet has helped globalize the sport for sure. And I think like there's a lot of cross pollination with some of these players. Like they get involved in like Call of Duty or Fortnite. Like it's crazy. I think Messi has a huge following with like the young players or young kids. Also like Ronaldo, but I think Messi more. And I think like everybody like yeah, dude, became a Pep Guardiola fan. They became a Messi fan. I see Man City, I see Barca, I see Inter Miami, like everywhere. It's crazy.
And you're starting to see more of the soccer players come in different events. I don't know if you guys saw Yamal at WWE. Like he was at Raw.
What?
Yeah, the camera just caught him. He's watching a match. Him and another player, no me acuerdo quién era. Like literally, they were watching a match and they panned the camera to him and they said, "Oh, this is Barcelona's player."
Wow.
Yamil Lamar. Yeah, so they're getting more exposure at other events. Obviously, the basketball comp también, like
Yep.
they're in, courtside seats. Los pasan con la camera. Oh, this is, este Mbappe or some other,
Mm-hmm.
big star. Yeah, they're just getting more exposure out there in different sports.
Yup. April Fools was today, and I didn't hear any good jokes. I didn't see any rumors come up today that I would have believed. I know that the Copa Oro, they said that we were gonna get all these crazy like guests, and in reality, all we got was Suriname and Saudi Arabia.
Also, well, man, he said we were gonna get a juiced up Copa Confederaciones.
Yeah.
Equipazo, no mames.
But no, I mean it's been disappointing. But good for Mexico. Maybe they'll win it. They should win it, honestly, with the competition and the way Canada and the U.S. are playing. And I don't know. I'm slowly starting to hop on the train and starting to believe that third time is a charm for Aguirre,
Hmm.
and that he might actually take the team to quarterfinals.
Oh, he's winning you over, huh?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
pressers and the fact that he's willing to play two strikers, and he's getting down with like the calls. So he's also calling up younger players. He's not, calling the same old heads from all the time. Like I like a little bit of everything that he's doing.
Yeah. Ya que estábamos hablando de Copa Oro, the team that I wanted them to invite was Australia. Pero pues
Australia?
nunca pasa. Yeah, they're scrappy, a scrappy team.
I like
Entertaining.
Australia.
Every World Cup, they're pretty entertaining. That would have been an interesting invite.
I remember once upon a time, Australia and Mexico had a friendly at the Oakland Coliseum, and I was actually surprised that there was Australians. I was like, "What? You guys exist here, like in the Bay Area?" I'd never run into Australians, but they're everywhere. you go backpacking in Europe, you'll run into an Aussie, and it's because their continent is a country. Like they don't really live or interact with other people, which is kind of crazy. Let me go over some more results in Liga MX. Monterrey shockingly lost to Tijuana. Gil Mora, I don't see Rifado on today, but Gil Mora got the game-winning goal. This kid, I still can't believe how young he is. I think he's like 16 years old, dude. And he's already playing at the highest level, already got capped for the national team. You got to be insanely good to be doing that kind of stuff. And, hopefully he might squeeze into a World Cup spot. Who knows?
That's something that I don't understand why he's getting called up to the U20 national team. Because the way I see it is, you're good enough to play against grown men in Liga MX. You're 15, 16 years old. Why wouldn't you be good enough to get called up to the first main national team?
I mean, he did, right? He went to the
prep games, but not like
Yeah.
official games like Nations League.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
like if he doesn't get called up to the Gold Cup, it just doesn't make sense to me. Because the way I see it, due to his age and the fact that he's starting, he's playing week in, week out against grown ass men. That makes him like a generational talent.
I mean, did that make Linus a generational talent?
At the moment, he was. He was probably one of the better 1v1 Mexican players in the league.
And
He was
guess what?
probably one of the best big chance creators.
Even Linus had to sit the fuck down and go play at the U levels because Mexico is all about process, jerarquías, and all that other bullshit.
No, but it's just to me, it's just like the dumbest thing in the world. Because I mean, you see these other countries, they have a 17-year-old breakout, and boom, they skip the whole process straight to the national team. And that's the way I see it. I mean, if you respect your league and you think you have a good league, if they can hang in your league, why wouldn't they be able to hang in your national team?
Bro, our league doesn't respect itself. All right. Like, if the league was even 3/4 serious about doing business in the way that it operates, it wouldn't have allowed for Chivas to change their venue. All right. Let's start there. If they cared about holding their prestige up high or even saving face, the league would have gone and fought for Leon to stay within the Club World Cup. They wouldn't be waiting for the courts and doing all of this. They would have been like, you know what, bro? I'm the big dog. Let me go talk to him. Pero no, ¿verdad? La liga, la comisión, todos esos cabrones, they don't care. All they care about is making money. Like the whole mamada about Chivas being able to change their venue, where it doesn't, they didn't even like follow the rules. They were supposed to have filed the petition 7 days before it happened. They were supposed to change the venue to over 50 kilometers from where the original venue is, which wasn't the case. Like, there's all of these things that show you que es una pinche liga babanera, ¿verdad? Like, no mames, güey. Es un pinche chiste.
Siente tu liga, Díaz, siente tu liga.
Sí, güey, pero la cosa es que mi liga me está cogiendo. Es lo que está pasando y es lo que estoy sintiendo. Por eso estoy ardido. Como, güey, no mames, esas son las mamadas que pasan todo el tiempo en la liga. Como lo que pasó que movieron a Rayados al estadio de Santos. ¿Por qué? Porque Shakira iba a tener un pinche concierto en el BBVA.
Her hips don't lie.
Did you guys see I haven't verified the video, but they did like Moto X games in El Acron in the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering, again, I haven't been keeping up. Why did Chivas play in El Jalisco? I thought they were like receiving punishment or something.
That's why Big Sacron was shut down, so they moved it to Jalisco.
That's so
And then
stupid.
that's what Abdias is crying about. Why get shut down if you can just go down the block and play down there?
Bro, the rules stipulate that you have to go 50 kilometers away from your home seed. These motherfuckers went 17.
I didn't say that they followed the rules or didn't. I'm just explaining to them why you're crying.
No, I know, but I'm just adding context to it.
Güey, ¿prefieres jugar en puertas cerradas o con fans?
I like juegos de puertas cerradas, güey. No mames, they're more interesting. You get to hear the game. Like, you get to hear the on-field calls from the players. You get to hear the coach. You get that little glimpse into the game that you don't typically have. And then it's also like, si no sabes el desmadre que está pasando and you're flipping through the channels and you find that game, you're like, whoa, wait, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Why is there a closed stadium? And then you look back to what happens, like, oh shit, they were wilding out. They were beating cops in the stands. Like, they were doing these type of wild boy shit. And you're like, all right, I get it. It makes sense. Like, it adds a certain different je ne sais quoi to the game. You enjoy it differently. I get it. A lot of people are like against it because of COVID. You know, les arde el culo, and it brings back bad memories of being stuck with their wives like 24/7. Pero no mames, güey. It was a beautiful thing even when it was happening during COVID. I enjoyed it, one, because Cruz Azul se estaba pipiando a todos, but two, because like I said, you got to hear the players talk to each other. You got to hear cómo se estaban mentando la madre during the game. You got to see all of those things that you weren't privy to before.
Yeah, I was looking forward to hearing like all the calls on the pitch and all the bickering and all that. I think that would have been cool. But yeah, then playing in Jalisco, I was like, okay. I mean, Jalisco is easier to get to than Akron, and the fans were still pretty fickle with the players, so that didn't change.
And then really quickly, just to like build on the shit show that is Chivas, and most of all, the shit show that is the Chivas fan base. You know what these motherfuckers did after the game?
Le
Someone
tiraron
threw
una
a
piedra.
yes, a fucking chunk of cement got thrown to the players, and the only reason why it didn't make contact with somebody is because it hit the riot shields that the cops were holding up as the players went into the tunnel.
Are you serious?
You want to
Yeah.
hear the excuse que dieron?
Oh, they gave an
So,
excuse?
dude,
Dime,
the
papa.
guy. So one they found out who it was, right? But one of the family members, the person that actually threw the rock, dijo que he's mentally challenged.
I mean,
That's
you
why.
have to be to support Chivas.
Hey,
Jeez,
bro.
bro. No, but the funny part is, tuvo 5 minutes of lucidez to actually throw the rock into the field y decir, I'm going to target this player.
Hey, man.
But then the rest of it, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't
no,
underestimate retard strength. It's a real thing.
In that
Yeah.
moment of anger and like fucking angst, he was like, ¿Sabes qué? Que chingue su madre ese güey. And just yeeted it all the way in.
Damn, bro. That's pretty bad, though. The fact that they were able to do that just goes to show the current, status of Jalisco's stadium. Chunks of cement are just accessible to people.
That was something that I was wondering because I was like, wait, this looks like a piece of the stadium itself
Yep.
chipped off.
Mhm, it
And
was.
that's what you have because it was a clump of concrete. Like it wasn't like it's a rock. No way. It was a chunk of concrete. It still had paint on it and shit.
Oh man, that's crazy. I gotta find a clip of that. That's wild.
Pinche Hulk strength para quitar el pinche concrete from the stadium.
And if anything, like honestly, it just shines a light at the issue that Mexico's been having at their soccer stadiums in general, right? We've talked about it a couple times about how as soon as Rayados loses, there's putazos up in the stands for no reason. You know, Noche UFC, guess what? Again, there was putazos in the stands. F1 races, there's always putazos in the grandstands. Like all of these things just hold a mirror to Mexican society.
We're consistent. That's the only thing we're consistent as is starting shit, bro.
Starting shit and throwing. You know what? Starting shit, getting drunk, and throwing putazos.
That's why, if there's one sport that I can claim for Mexico as being the best at, it's boxing, dude.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say beating our wives.
It's
No.
that warrior spirit in us.
Yeah,
Not
for
that
sure.
we've had world class boxing.
Yeah.
I mean world class boxers.
Yep. It's the one sport I'd be like, if there's one sport that Mexico can represent, and I know that they'll hold it down and be the best in the world, it's boxing, dude. Absolutely. Let's take a look at this. Go ahead.
I was saying the funny thing is that it's always some fucking prieto that looks like he's about to steal your wallet.
I don't know, man. You look at Julio Cesar Chavez, he was a white Mexican. Canelo's redhead.
That's two.
Who else? Eric Morales, he was fairly light skinned. Barrera maybe might be a little bit darker.
Güey, la cosa es que estaban asombreados, no era que eran güeros.
Pues Salvador Sánchez no se miraba que he was going to steal your wallet.
There was that fighter out of Oxnard. I forgot his name. He was definitely dark, but he was American. He was a Mexican American. So let me go over this table as it stands. America in first place, 30 points. Toluca in second with 27. León with 26. And Tigres with 25. That's their top four. Cruz Azul Right behind them with 25 points in fifth, Necaxa in sixth, Pachuca, Juarez, Monterrey, and Pumitas. That is your top 10. Chivas are right there in the 11th spot with 16 points. Mazatlan, Atlas, Querétaro, San Luis, Tijuana, Puebla, and in last place, holding it down, is Santos Laguna.
Damn, bro, the whole story with Santos is fucking embarrassing. Even worse is the other story surrounding Santos of this couple, right? There's a video of them. There's Santos scores a goal. They're celebrating, they're jumping up and down, they're kissing each other. And then later on that night, there's a police report that gets published about how local police had to get called to a domestic neighborhood for to a residential neighborhood for domestic violence. And when they arrived, they found a couple yelling and throwing things at each other. And there had been clear signs of domestic abuse on both sides. When the police came to try to arrest, like, were there putting the cuffs on them and everything, they were yelling, kissing each other, saying that they loved each other. Now,
Wow.
the funny twist in all this is that the same couple that was celebrating the goal of Santos is the same ones that once Santos lost, they went back home and they started to beat the shit out of each other.
Oh my God. Hey, that's your
So-
That's your ride or die, man.
Just so you know, cuando pierde Santos, pierde la familia.
Yeah. Also, when you decide to appoint your kid as the VP, and he's only like in his 20s, I mean, that's mismanagement at its best right there.
I mean, bro, you can't blame everything on the kid. All right. They were already shit from long before. He came in and he gave a great speech, right? About yo, we conquered the desert. We're warriors. We're this and that. We will rebuild and we'll come back
Yeah,
up.
ChatGPT write that shit. You know you didn't write that shit.
I mean, motherfucker, you use ChatGPT all the time too. Like, I don't know why you're complaining.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not running a club. That's the difference, dude.
Like, no mames, but you have to give them time. You have to let this shit play out. Now, the real problem is it's the level of investment that Santos hasn't been making in their squad,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the same reason why fucking Nacho Cuadro left. Because they told him that he wasn't going to have any good players coming in, that there wasn't any money, so se la tenía que rifar con la cantera.
Yeah, Orlegi decided that Atlas were the bigger market, being Guadalajara. They obviously won 2 titles, and that's kind of been the energy right now. And I think they also have a team in Europe, no?
Yeah, that's it, Jaime. It's the Europe marbles. I mean, Atlas is the bigger market. I mean, Jalisco is the bigger market. Atlas the more popular team. You know, they were still more popular than Santos, despite Santos, you know, how they've been. They were one of the more successful teams, and even then they didn't compare to the popularity of the Rojinegros, who were like perennial losers, 70 years. And we even see it once when they celebrated that first campeonato. You saw it on the streets. Um, but yeah, I think it's in Spain. He's putting his money there, and
Oviedo, isn't it?
one of those teams. But let's see how it works out for him if he can be successful the way he was successful in Mex.
You know what sucks about all this? That I remember que Santos siempre traía like 1 or 2 really good extranjeros every season.
Yeah,
And now,
yeah.
I don't know, they killed their scouting department or something porque ya no han traído nada. Like they're
Those two Atlas.
in that department.
It honestly, that is the problem of multipropiedad, right? Because even when they asked them, they're like, hey, are you going to invest in the Mexican League? They said, no, our focus is in Europe and making our European venture successful. So that's where all the money's going. That's why Atlas is shit too.
So they own Santos, Atlas, Tampico Madero, and Real Sporting de Gijón.
And the Legion.
Yep.
Damn, bro, they own las Jaivas Bravas?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they got 2 first division. They have 1 second division Mexican team, and then a second division Spanish team with aspirations of becoming first division.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
why there's no investment.
Who was that player? Jordan. He played for Gijón. He's a Mexican. Jordan Carrillo.
That's the only Jordi that I know, Jordi Carrillo.
Yeah. I was hoping that, part of Orlegi owning all these teams, that they would send more Mexicans to Europe. And that's the only player that I know that did.
They were supposed to. Now, really quickly, I'm going to sidebar this conversation for a second. And I just want to point out that Tigres is playing like absolute ass, bro.
Yep.
They cannot get a single fucking goal against LA Galaxy, the team that has lost every fucking game in MLS.
They
Like,
did
no
it to
mames,
themselves,
güey.
man.
Yeah.
They shot their own foot.
It's 0-0 85th minute, and I'm like, bro, are they really not gonna score a goal? Like, are we literally gonna have Champions Cup with no goals today?
Bro, it was like, but Tigres is like generating. Tigres is like shooting, but everything is going straight to the goalie.
Yeah.
Like, God, man, they look like a fucking toothless tiger. They're just, I don't know, man.
We'll see if Marcelo Flores does something. I think they just put him on.
Fuck that. Bring in Tatiana. At least give me something to look at.
Yeah, dude. I forget. They have Linus. They have Oziel Herrera. They have so many fucking players, bro. Brunetta. I'm like, bro, this team stacked.
And I know I've been complaining about Cruz Azul all this time, but even for a stacked team, like the players should have enough pedigree amongst themselves to be able to squeeze out a win. These motherfuckers can't even do that.
Yeah, we'll see. Could be worse. They could have crashed out like Rajados did.
Yeah, dude, and Rayados is another really interesting story because I don't know if I mentioned it here or it was just something that I heard and I didn't really bring it up, but it was the conversation of how in Mexico they buy espejitos, right? Because the Michelis was coming in, and if you listen to the Argentine talk, everyone said is like, yo, De Michelis isn't a good coach. Like, he's not the answer. I don't know what you guys think you're doing. You're buying a fraud. And now here we are again.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I was gonna ask this to Joel, but he was too busy getting pegged by his wife. I wanted to know if he's heard any more rumors about the Michelis being officially fired yet.
No, I after I got embarrassed, I just let it go. But the espejitos, I think a lot of times is that that association to be linked to these big names. That was like when they bring the Johan Cruyff, when they bring him in, and it was more about that in Barcelona, and having that association more than there's this proven track record of this coach, and you're getting your money's worth. It's more of we're getting this promotion, and let's see if it works out.
But bro, he was coming off of failure. Like
That's
he
why.
wasn't
But
coming
then,
in hot.
no, I know, but it's like, where has he played and
Wait,
Argentina
no
national
mames.
and all that.
Es como cuando si compras un carro que está desvielado and all of a sudden you think that it's gonna work fine. No mames, way. It's already got a fucking clapped out engine, a couple
I
bent
know,
pistons in there.
we've been sold on this whole Euro thing that everything in Europe is better and the tactics and that, we're still playing like it's the 80s and all this shit. And I've always said, like, why are you going all the way over there? You know, we still got South America, and the best coach has been Jardine. Came from Brazil. I don't think there's no need for that, but I feel there's been that push. Some coaches has even talked about it in one of the La Volpe podcasts. They were talking about how they were even bringing youth coaches, to try to do these Euro systems of training youth and whatnot. And then we saw it with Chivas, with Hierro, and all these Spanish guys they were bringing in. And so I think it's like that's what's trending. So these club owners, they're like, all right, I want to be like that. Because I think even Vergara said it, and this was, but going back to him, where he's like, we're gonna be the Barcelona of Latin America or some shit like that. And so
No
yeah, it's
way.
like
That
you
was
said, un
Chava
espejito.
Iglesias.
No, no, he said it too when they brought Cruyff. And they
Did he
brought
say que
Cruyff.
también van por una estrella?
No, he's just said like, they were gonna be the equivalent, like how Barcelona had La Marsella, and they were gonna, Verde Valle or whatever, and have all this youth, because that was the main thing, to rework their youth, which seems crazy if you're Chivas, which you had the best youth program, and then for whatever reason you just dump it, and then you're buying, you're trying to buy like you're paying out of your ass to try to return to that.
Yo, I don't know who this goalie is at LA Galaxy, but holy shit, he's atrocious. And they still can't score.
he's lucky then.
It's
That's a
bad,
lucky start.
man. I'm just gonna say this right now. Marcelo Flores came in at about the 88th minutes with straight backs. There's a goal coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he's got those cone rows, man.
All he needs is the black Air Force One cleats, and that's it.
Oh, he did a little flick there. Oh, yeah, he's on, bro. He's ready.
Yeah, plus that MLS defending should be equivalent of the under 20 Arsenal games he was playing. He's
Is
this
Marcelo
level.
Flores the little Bow Wow? The
Yes.
Little
He wants to
Bow
be like Mike.
Wow. Oh, my God. He needs to put on the Cristiano Ronaldo's boots.
He
Hey.
found Cristiano's old boots
Like
at a
Cristiano.
Dollar General
They
at
were,
a Goodwill.
nah, they were supposed to be donated to a museum, and he stole them.
Damn,
That's
writing
what it
scripts.
was.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Well, folks, we're at the 2-hour mark almost. I don't really have any other things on the agenda. There are some interesting matches in Liga MX this weekend, starting with Querétaro León. They start on Friday at 6 p.m. Tijuana against Necaxa. Puebla Tigres. Pachuca versus America. They mentioned on the broadcast today that America will probably be fielding their B side against Pachuca. We'll see how that goes. Atlas Juarez, San Luis Mazatlan, Rayados versus Chivas. I'll be watching that one. We'll see how that goes. But I think the big one this weekend is Cruz Azul Pumas.
That's it, bro. That's what we're here for. We're here to entertain the masses. Now, one of the things that has been talked about, and it hasn't been confirmed yet, but earlier on there had been conversations about Cruz Azul changing the seed of that venue. That way, Pumas wouldn't be able to have home field advantage.
Yeah, I was about to say, right now, You guys are using their stadium, and you're technically the home team, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're talking about going to El Cuauhtémoc. I'm just not exactly sure how everything's panned out.
Hmm. Let me see. Puebla play on Friday at home.
Yeah, so that leaves the stadium open.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that relation between Puebla and El DF to where it could be a possibility.
Look at you guys couch surfing.
Hey man, you know what? It's okay. Every now and then you hook up with the tenant's wife or daughter, and it's not a bad experience. I couch surfed for a little bit in college. It was nice. Now, something really quickly that I want to bring up, and it's breaking news, and it's more on the MLS side,
Oh,
right? It's the fact that Messi's bodyguard is no longer allowed in the sidelines
why?
because the MLS says that they are responsible for security. They are
Oh,
able to do a good enough job and keep the players safe.
that's a lie.
That's a lie because even I don't know the bodyguard's name, but he said he's like, yo, in Europe, we only had 3 pitch invasions in X amount of time. The whole time that we've been here, we've had over 13 this year alone.
Damn, really?
So the problem isn't me, the problem is your security.
Oh, security's a
And
joke.
and that's exactly it, bro. I brought it up, but you know what? You tell us your stories about how much of a joke security is.
Well, I can only speak to my experience with the Earthquakes, and this is the Earthquakes, dog. They don't have any star players, but there was one incident involving Cruz Azul. They had a friendly here at PayPal Park, and the game was getting a little angsty. Both teams were going full at it, even though it was a friendly, and it got to a point where one of the fans ran onto the field and actually punched a player from the Earthquakes. He was wearing a Cruz Azul wrestling mask. That was crazy.
You know the fucking vibes.
Bro, that was crazy. And later on, there was a shooting in the parking lot, and it got so bad that they actually canceled the upcoming friendly that was supposed to happen on the weekend from Chivas and León. They had to reschedule that one. And that's just one incident. I mean, every time I cover a game at that stadium, there's a pitch invasion. There's always somebody. In fact, there was a player in that Chivas game that celebrated with them. I didn't even fucking realize. He ran onto the field and celebrated with the team. I'm like, bro, he was caught in 4K that he ran on the pitch and celebrated with the players and tapped them on the back. I'm like, bro. Yeah, MLS security is a joke because all that stuff is outsourced. They have a company that provides security for the arena, but it's up to the club, I think, to contract these people, and they don't have a clue. They don't know what the fuck's going on, man.
Yeah, no. In my time with La Barra in Seattle and being part of that whole organization and doing things with them, the security was a fucking joke, dude. Half of the time, the security is watching the game itself.
Yeah, they are.
They're not paying attention to what's happening in the stands.
Yeah, that's true.
It's ridiculous. And even though you have this rule of oh, we stop serving alcohol at the 70th minute. Yeah, but I've been pre-gaming since fucking 11 a.m. this morning. Do you understand how fucking lit I am?
Yeah.
So, yeah, MLS just opened up a can of worms and is really going to expose Messi. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how it's done as he continues to go to all these other cities.
Oh my God. I just saw a tweet about the conference room for the Oakanays. It's pretty sad. I know it has nothing to do with soccer, but it just goes to show how embarrassing this is.
Remember, Jaime, before you do it, put a lemon in your mouth.
Oh, I wish I could end the podcast right there. All right, closing thoughts, guys.
I'll go first. Just was gonna talk about the whole FIFA Clubs World Cup America possibly getting the invite. I'm gonna say for Leon, man, they knew this was coming. It was mentioned months ago. Uh, I'm not sure why they didn't do anything about it. I know they could have done like a fake sale, just make up whatever corporation, sell it to your nephew and pretend it's new owners. You know, so I'm not sure why nothing was done to that effect. And I thought they even talked to FIFA. So it's surprising for me that they sort of felt that this was just going to be looked over.
Hold on, Joel. I know these are closing thoughts, and I don't want to interrupt you,
Yeah,
but I have
no,
to.
go ahead.
They came
Yeah.
to the U.S. and they established a blind trust, and it was also certified by a third party that there are two independent entities, which they believed was going to be enough to satisfy FIFA, because it's the same way that Citigroup operates.
Well, then they should have gone to FIFA and made sure, get it in writing, not just wait till D Day, like make sure that all that they did meets the requirements. So that's still my thing. Like if they, you know, um, get it in writing, get it from the main dude, not just from whoever told him that would have been enough. And clearly it wasn't. It's like you talk to the chalan, and then you go meet the tainke, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So yeah, go straight to the source. It just feels that way to me. Even if they did all that, it still feels like they dropped the ball, and they just have themselves to blame for that.
All right, Joel, was that it?
Yeah, dude, that was my take on that issue.
All right, my final take, and it's more of a shout out. Esteban, if you're listening, way, no te cules. Give me the press passes. All right. I've applied for press passes to the Miami FC versus Columbus here in Cleveland. So we'll see how that goes. Look forward to hearing back. And that way we can get some photos, we can get some reports for you guys, and let you know how this whole thing plays out in an NFL stadium. Now, with all of that being said, I also want to mention that andaban bien confiadudos los de las Chivas, que iban a ganar y quién sabe qué, y hasta cagando sangre y jugando feo, les partimos la madre. Now we won against America. Luca's looking really good. In fact, he's starting to look like that player that everybody was talking about. Where today he went, se encaró contra los del América. It almost looked like there was going to be putazos. It was looking good, man. So let's see how the rest of the games develop. Si le partimos la madre a Pumas, that gets us up closer in the rankings and into the top four positions, and then we can just coast on into the liguilla. Other than that, let's see what happens. I don't like the way Cruz Azul is playing, but at least they're getting results. The results are not attributed to the coach himself. They're more attributed to the depth of squad and how stacked it is. So here we are. We'll see how this boat rides. Pero ¿sabes qué? Nunca me bajo, nunca me escondo y aquí estoy. No soy puto como el cabrón de Ricardo. Buenas noches, señores.
Always nice to see you on the podcast, Abdias. You always add that extra seasoning we always need. Who's up?
I was gonna say that Diaz is un pendejo, first of all. Talking about cagando sangre. They got a lucky goal. They parked the bus. Against America, he's praising Luca Romero for looking like that guy. Bro, he's playing in Liga MX. He got bounced from Milan. And you guys ended the game 0-0. Okay. And no matter how much 1v1s he tried or whatever, you end the game 0-0. And for that reason, don't be shocked when you get bounced in the Liga again or when your team chokes again. Because you just said it, man. The coaching ain't there. You're depending on individualities to barely get you a draw, barely get you a 1-0 win. Yeah, cállese. With that being said, I think Chivas tournament is done. At this point, it looks like if you get in a playing spot and you qualify for the next round and you get bounced, it'd be better than expected at this point. So yeah, I think their season's done. I think Espinosa needs to go. You were brought in because you won championships at the youth level, and you're playing a bunch of old heads. Like what the? And you're an Atlas fan. Fuck, you gotta go. Mauri gotta go. If there's a what was that guy from New York and Luigi, the CEO killer. There's a Mexican version out there. I'm not giving names out, but I got suggestions if you want to send me a DM. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
The only thing I'm gonna say is Hugo Camberos, if you're listening, compa, don't sign the card. Um, go do bigger, better things in Europe. I'll be seeing you. That's about it.
Dude, and to add to that, that is just how much like it doesn't sound like it, but you don't know how pissed I am right now. Like to the fact that you gotta say like, "Hey, bro, leave." Like you're better off leaving. I remember like growing up with Chivas and it'd be like, "Oh, why is he leaving? Like we have such a solid roster. Like our roster's getting weak. Like how are we gonna be able to win the title? Like, and right now it's like, leave, bro. Like you're like the only little good thing amongst all these crumbs. Like just leave, and that is pathetic. Like, and it's all on ownership. But the fact it's like, even like youth fans, Ray Orozco was talking about like kids don't watch Liga MX or something like that. The ones that do, all they're seeing is America winning 3 titles in a row. What fucking team are you gonna choose? You're not gonna choose the one that gets bullied and there's memes and cyberbullying. You're gonna choose the winning team. So how long this whole el equipo más popular de Mexico is gonna last? I'm not sure because the only other thing you had going for you was Mexicans only, and then every day you dilute that even more. So what the fuck are they doing with this club, man? Just fucking annoying.
Absolutely. I see a lot of parallels between Manchester United and Chivas today. They were defeated by Nottingham Forest, and the guy who scored the game-winning goal, Anthony Elanga, came from Manchester United, and now he's scoring goals against them and defeating them. And Manchester United is probably having the worst season I've ever witnessed. Like luckily they're not in a relegation battle this season, but they're a season or two from that being a reality. And this is a club that I grew up that was, kind of like the underdog. And then the 90s, under great management, they were able to rack up the titles. And I see a lot of parallels with Chivas, the team that was respected, had a lot of prestige, and a lot of fans became fans of the team in the 90s. And now it's like they're the butt of every joke. They're the doormat of the league. They're the memes. The memes just keep coming, dude. And I'm like, I'm not even on social media right now, but I can imagine what they're saying about Chivas. So I know I'll leave with this. Hugo Camberos, don't sign the contract, man. Write out the contract. You'll be free in the summer and you'll be somewhere in Europe by the start of next season if you play your card right. If you don't, and they kind of force you to sign and you get stuck here, it's going to be sad to see another gem go to waste. But looking forward to seeing Sergio Ramos versus Chivas this weekend. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see how the other half of the Champions Cup action looks like tomorrow and next week. But we'll be here to capture all those emotions. So thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one.